A wealthy man suffering from a terminal illness decided to extend his life by undergoing a radical procedure. He had scientists remove his head and transplant it onto the body of a recently deceased bodyguard. After the surgery and various tests, as he was recovering, a sudden sharp pain emerged from the stitched wound. The scientists quickly reassured him that this was a normal reaction and that he would need some time to adjust. However, strange things continued to happen. Mike, once a renowned artist, suddenly couldn't even draw a simple line. He went back to the scientists for answers, but they told him he just needed more time to adjust. 2 months later, Mike still couldn't produce a decent piece of art. Frustrated and humiliated, he threw his pencil down and then threw the entire desk out the window. But in the next moment, he realized something was off. He couldn't believe how much strength he now had. To test his suspicions, he called his wife and the scientists to show them his newfound power. With ease, he lifted a 200-pound motorcycle, leaving the scientists in shock. Just as they were out shopping, unaware of the danger, a group of robbers targeted them. One of the robbers snatched his wife's purse, but Mike reacted swiftly, kicking him to the ground. However, the other robbers soon arrived and brandished knives. But they were no match for Mike's newfound strength, and they were easily defeated. Even his wife couldn't believe her eyes. She couldn't imagine that the once frail man she knew could be so strong after the body swap. But despite his power, Mike was still injured while protecting his wife. Angry and embarrassed, Mike knocked the robbers to the ground in just a few moves. But as he was about to finish one of them off, his wife shouted at him to stop. They then went to the hospital to treat their wounds. The female doctor, however, was shocked when she saw the scar on Mike's back. It looked exactly like a scar she had seen on her boyfriend's back. To uncover the truth, she compared Mike's blood type to her boyfriend's, and to her horror, they were a perfect match. She began to suspect that Mike was actually her boyfriend, who had undergone a body transplant. She eagerly wanted to confront him, but before she could speak, Mike's wife and child interrupted them. Reluctantly, Amy had to leave, but the look of disappointment on her face filled Mike with guilt. However, he had promised the scientists to keep the secret. The truth was that not long ago, Mike had been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Unwilling to die so soon, he spent a large sum of money to seek out a scientist named David, hoping he could help him find a healthy body for a head transplant. But the chances of success were very low, and finding a suitable body was incredibly difficult, which left Mike feeling utterly hopeless. In despair, Mike couldn't bear the emotional burden and went into the woods with the intent of ending his life. But at the critical moment, his belt snapped, and David arrived just in time to stop him. After some encouragement, Mike was dissuaded from suicide. However, as they were about to leave, a gunshot rang out. When they went to check, they found a mercenary lying dead on the ground. Mike wanted to call the police, but David stopped him, as this was the body they had been searching for. Without hesitation, they took the body and successfully performed the head transplant on Mike. This was the real reason they couldn't reveal the truth. Later, Mike sought out Amy. Feeling guilty, he confessed the entire story to her. After hearing the truth, Amy wasn't shocked. She realized that this was just another way for her boyfriend to live on. In the end, they both cleared the air, and the family of 4 lived happily ever after.